before we get to that, Gerardo, you prepped. I hear it took a lot of man hours to kind of get this through.
Oh my God, yeah. Don't get me started.
You set up a little bracket that you kind of want to share with the class here, talking about what could be coming this college football season. I'm going to let you kind of take it away. You did this all on your lonesome, didn't invite me to the party. Just like Taylor Swift didn't invite us to the wedding.
So essentially I did a playoff picker for college football, except I picked like thousands of games, it almost felt like. And like, what I really wanted, it was the ultimate result. What I got here, it's kind of like all the teams that I would have probably picked. And so number one team was Bama by the end of the season. Then it was Clemson, Oregon, Arizona State at 4, UT at 5, Notre Dame 6, Miami at 7, Ohio State at 8, Penn State at 9, UGA at 10, 11 Georgia Tech, and 12 Boise State. That's how it all ended up unfolding. Now, what I want to break down from that are true contenders from that, like actual national championship caliber teams, somewhat national championship caliber teams, like if you 50-50 on these guys. And then the last ones I think are like
so you 25%. Put them in a tier list, basically.
They sent, yes. So the true,
let's go from the bottom. Let's go for the bottom. Who are the guys that
I do not believe in?
Who's the guys that you like? Oh, they made it, but they're probably gonna get the SMU treatment in round 1 and get smoked.
Arizona State, Georgia Tech, Boise State, and Miami.
Well, let's start here with Georgia Tech. I mean, them being ranked 11th is a huge jump for them. What are you kind of seeing with that program?
Haynes King is a really legitimate starter in college football. He's an elite level college football quarterback. On top of that, too, this is a team that should have beat Georgia last year, and that Georgia team is the same. And also that Georgia team was what the one we are seeing right now too. It isn't like the Georgia team that had the Carson Beck situation. That is the Gunnar Stockton, like Georgia team. Like that is a really good Georgia team. And the fact that Georgia Tech should have won that game, and Georgia Tech is always known as I would say like a giant killer. Like throughout their years, they have always been like, even though they may end up like 6-6 back then or 7-6, they always somehow beat a top 5 team every year. And I think this year would be the year that they finally get the recognition that they deserve. And actually, they have a very favorable matchup throughout the ACC. And in the ACC, funny enough, because talk about it, like Bill Belichick also has a cakewalk of a season this year for the ACC. I think the ACC is a very, outside of Clemson, like very winnable for a second tier team out there. That's why I also have 3 of them in there. That's why there's Miami even in this situation. Miami,
Cam Ward, losing Xavier Restrepo, losing Damian Martinez.
The thing is though, is
I don't know if Damian Martinez was all that important to them last year,
but a Mario Cristobal team is still good in the trenches. They are probably still the best offensive and defensive line in the ACC. They are going to beat you up. They got kind of that Big Ten level swagger of like grounded and pounded. Like they're just bigger dudes than all of y'all, than everybody else in the ACC. And the ACC is not really that big of a, how do I say it? They're not like the SEC or the Big Ten, where they're like, it's more of a finesse league almost.
Like what the Pac-12 used to be.
Mm-hmm. And to be fair, Carson Beck isn't a talented quarterback. He is very talented. The reason why he's a 5-star guy. So the thing is, I think he fits Miami's offense a lot better than he did at Georgia's. And I think that is a good move for Miami to go from Cam Ward to him. Like that is a very good move in college football. Do I think Carson Beck's not a good NFL prospect? No, but do I think he's an immensely talented college football player? Yes. And I think that they are just a little bit too talented all around him for them to not win the matchups that they have placed up against them, but I'm still not sold on that too, because Carson Beck kind of, the whole leaving college to go to your girlfriend's college is kind of weird for me. I can't sell that with your biggest leader, man. But in college football, you kind of can get away with that to an extent. You kind of can. In the NFL, I'm not. I'm
surprised he didn't transfer to UNC. I feel like him and Belichick would have gotten along pretty well.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Other teams on there, Boise State, because they're a really talented team and they don't play.
No Ashton Genty. Who's your blue chip talent that's going to drag you there?
So, because the other team that I have on there is also Arizona State, and they would say
That's a team. Arizona State is a team that I am really fascinated with. Sam Leavitt, I was super impressed with last year.
It will be the first time the Big 12 has a repeat champion since like a long time. It will be
they were a really good team last year. They kind of rode the coattails of Cam Scatabo a little bit, but Sam Leavitt is a more than serviceable college quarterback. The receiver, I believe his name is Jordan Tyson. Super
legitimate
impressive.
legitimate
Super
prospect.
impressive.
But
They
also
have
with
a nice little backfield with depth. I'd just be a little concerned about pass rush, and this like Big 12 defense is always just a big concern. But they have tools on offense, and they have a legitimate college football quarterback, and that's going to get you far. That defense is going to get beaten around a little bit by the bigger teams when we get to the playoffs. But is anybody really worried about that Big 12 schedule? Like
ever since
Arizona State
ever
should run
since
through them.
GT and Oklahoma left, it doesn't matter. Like they are going to kind of walk into it. Their biggest threat was Kansas State, and Kansas State lost to Iowa State. So, like, and right now it's what them and Texas Tech, really. And Texas Tech, we already talked about the $55 million NIL investment that they made on their team. So that's also super unproven. You know what is proven? Arizona State. They've won before. They retain everybody, and all the running backs combined will be better than what Cam Scatabo was last year.
I think Cam Scatabo was an awesome like college story.
Mm-hmm.
Super fun to follow, super fun to watch. I mean, that Sugar Bowl game was super impressive.
Oh my God, yeah, one of the most impressive jobs by a single individual player.
I don't think he's going to be a great NFL back by any means, but
mm-mm.
he's going to be a guy who hangs around because he realized what his position was, running back. Like it reminds me a lot of like Tebow, like what Tebow should have done after playing college football for Florida. After the Broncos situation where he led them to the playoffs, but it was obvious like that arm is not an NFL arm. He should have transferred to tight end, fullback, running back. He would have had a pretty good career. I don't want to say like, Pro Bowls and All Pros and MVPs and awards. He would have stuck around the NFL a lot longer than he did.
100%.
And Scadabo's going to have a pretty similar. He's going to stick around the league for a lot longer. He's going to be a coach's kid. He's going to be a guy who sticks around. But this Arizona State team, I don't think they're going to miss him too much.
No, I think almost hardly at all, honestly. I think that the running backs that they have together this year equals to what he is, if not better.
I mean, there's Udo, and Brown is a nice little flashy scat back. And their tight end guy, what's his name? Mateer, super impressive as well. Like the defense is certainly a concern, and it's going to cause them problems as they get into like super serious games. I don't have their schedule off the top of my head, but I believe in Sam Leavitt, and I believe in Kenny Dillingham as a college.
First of all, Kenny Dillingham is a legit coach, like a legit coach, and the fact that he not only that he was highly sought after by other major programs, he stayed. His whole coaching staff stayed, and that means a lot to me in college football. Because usually when a team like as well as they did last year, they almost beat UT. That means every other how many different teams are in college football? Those coaches were going to get.
I don't know. You picked all the games. You tell me.
Way too many. But regardless, like the fact that there's so many jobs available year in and year out, that the fact that he retained his whole staff, retained about over 75% of his squad is still there. Like, I think they're a legitimate team. I just don't think they're a college football, like national championship. Then we move on to the teams that are like 50-50 on UGA, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Penn State. Ohio State is because of their quarterback. Yeah. Ohio State is their quarterback situation. They have the best player in the country at wide receiver. Like, that dude's insane.
Was his name Jeremiah Smith?
Yeah. Stupid good. Penn State is just Penn State. They can't win the big one. Like, until proven otherwise, I'm not going to believe that they can win the big one. Notre Dame, I I don't know. I've just never been in Notre Dame, like, since they got waxed by Bama, since they lost this national championship to Ohio State. It seems that that's been the narrative from them as well too.
Kind of
That
playoff chokers.
not playoff chokers, they're just national championship chokers. They can get to the ship. It's just, can they win it? And also, when these four big teams that I'm going to talk about, you're going to know why they're natty contenders. They're also starting a new quarterback this year. That's always a little bit worrisome for me.
Especially after a guy like Riley Leonard, who was around
Exactly.
for as long as he was.
Mm-hmm. UGA, they're like almost like in between those two tiers. Their wide receiver room's stupid good. That's their best. They said that's their best unit on that squad is their wide receivers.
I believe it.
But the SEC is just too deep. Like, and going into it, like Bama's dumb talented this year. The best comparison that I heard was Ty Simpson is going to be their new quarterback. Now you're losing the big playability with the legs from their what was their former quarterback that's now with
Jalen
the Seahawks.
Milroe.
So, but you also Ty Simpson has a higher floor but lower ceiling as a college football prospect, in which with this Bama team is what you want. You just kind of want the dude to distribute the ball really good, and they're an extremely talented team as well too. UT, same thing. The only thing is just if this is Arch Manning's first full season now. That's literally their only concern. He had a higher floor and ceiling than Ewers, but Ewers just had way more experience in that aspect. Oregon is a stupidly good team. Now, a lot of people are going to be talking about, well, Gerard, you talk about first year starting quarterbacks. Why do I not have concerns about Oregon? So Dante Moore is going to be their starting quarterback this year. Dante Moore sat out last year because they brought in Dylan Gabriel in. And the year beforehand, if you remember that Dante Moore was the starting quarterback at UCLA. Dante Moore, for those who don't know, was the quarterback that was tied or above Arch Manning on his rankings coming out of high school. He is immensely talented. This is going to be Oregon's best ever quarterback since like Mariota and Bo Nix and Herbert. Like, we are talking about that level of talent. And you are telling me that Oregon finally gets that talent. Like, I think he's better than Bo Nix was, like in physical talent. And that team is really, really good. The only losses that they had was Dylan Gabriel, really. Like, that defense is still nasty. That offense is still nasty. I mean, this is a team that beat Ohio State last year, right? Am I correct on that? Did they beat
That
Ohio?
sounds familiar. I'll look it up.
Did they win by 1 point last year against them? Was it 33-32?
Yes, 32-31.
There you go. And they,
in October, and then Ohio State waxed them in the playoff.
Mm-hmm. But I think Dante Moore just brings so much more than Dylan Gabriel did. Like, and I also think looking at that could be my big Heisman sleeper is Dante Moore. I think he's immensely talented, and he sat behind that offense because that's the biggest difference too, is that Dylan Gabriel only had one season. Bo Nix I believe he only had one season with that coaching staff. And Dante Moore has now had 2 seasons with them. And I think they are going to be completely
running. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100. Like, they're not going to miss a beat with that. Clemson is just a super well-rounded team. Super well-rounded. Cade Klubnik is a legitimate star, projected first overall pick. They also have stupid amount of studs on that team. Like, there's probably going to be about, what was it? They're going to have probably about 3 players drafted in the top 10 this year. And that becoming an NFL draft prospect does not mean you're a good college player sometimes. But with this Clemson team, I fully believe that. Like, Cade Klubnik's legit. They have 2 pass rushers on their team that are dumb talented too. And we are finally talking about Clemson finally investing into NIL. And like, they should have never fallen off. I understand Dabo wanted to try to go against the NIL, but him investing into it is now, this is the Clemson of old. And what I mean by that is this is the one that we're going against Alabama all those years. Like, this is the return of Clemson. And I think they are also the team that I picked to win the national championship this year, to beat Texas. And I really like them. And I had a time struggling between UT, Alabama, Oregon, and Clemson. Like between those four, any of those four could win the national championship. I would not surprise me one single bit.
Yeah. Like I said last show, this is kind of be like my first season, like being like, I don't want to say forced because I like doing this, but like strapping myself in and watching college football, paying attention. So I know what the hell Gerardo's talking about when he gets into these
Mhm.
deep dives, these players, these schools. Um,
Oh, college
so
football, like that's like a crazy rabbit hole to get a hold of. Like honestly, because of how vast it is, and it's like, and also the like we were discussing, it's like you could be an elite level college player. Does not mean you're a good NFL prospect. There's
I think
amazing.
that was like my hard thing when I was first getting into it. Like I
Mhm.
watched it a little bit when I was a kid. I watched a lot of U Miami back in the late 2010s when they were like totally
Oh my
mid.
god, that's like, is it? Oh my god,
Brad
they had a
Kaya.
Brad Kai. Yeah, I remember the quarterback they had beforehand. He wore number 12. I forget
I
his name.
don't remember him. I remember
Um,
Brad Kaya and I remember Malik Rozier. Um,
yeah, tough
but
sledding.
that was the first like wake up to reality because I thought Brad Kaya was the man. And I was like, this guy cannot fail. He's going to be like a second, third round pick in the NFL draft. And he's going
No,
to stick around the league for such a long time. Went at the
that's
end of
why.
the sixth round, got cut.
Yeah, and to kind of wrap that up before we go into the week 1 matchups, it was funny because I remember there was a discussion that we had in one of the Facebook groups that we were part of the best ever college football athletes, like the top ranking list. And I go, this list is too filled with NFL prospects. And I'm like, y'all think that their NFL career matched their college football outlook. For instance, Andrew Luck is an amazing player, but in college football, there's a lot of quarterbacks that outperformed him in college football. For instance, Geno Smith was a better college football player than Andrew Luck.
Wow.
Geno Smith was dumb talented. And
Do you know how that sounds to a guy who doesn't really follow?
that's what I'm saying. Like, can you imagine me telling you, hey, by the way, Geno Smith was like almost 5 times better than Andrew Luck in
I'm
college.
dumbfounded hearing you say that.
So, like Tosh Boyd was a very successful like Clemson quarterback.
I only remember his NFL career.
But everybody thinks like, what in the world? Tosh Boyd? Like, who's another guy that we could talk about? I mean, any Texas Tech, like Graham Harrell. Like,
Nope. That doesn't even ring a bell.
yeah, same thing with like the quarterback from Hawaii that threw for 1,000,000 yards.
Oh,
Like,
rest in peace.
yep,
Colt Brennan.
Colt Brennan. I mean, he's a college football like Hall of Famer, but NFL prospect wise, no. And that's what I'm saying. That a lot of people, if you're coming from NFL down, the number one thing you need to watch is just because they're dumb talented in college does not mean anywhere at all that they're going to be good in the NFL. And just because they're good in the NFL does not mean they were good in college. Like, and that's where I think that's so funny about like for instance, Toby Gerhart. Toby Gerhart was a legitimate running back in college football, bust in the NFL.
Totally mid with the Jags.
Oh, well, not no, he was with the Vikings. Remember, he was Adrian Peterson's backup. He drafted him in
Oh,
the second round.
I remember him with the Jags.
Yeah, but exactly like complete like for instance, Tim Tebow, arguably the best ever college football player there has ever been.
Not my favorite, but he certainly you can't deny
Mhm.
the greatness. My favorite was Johnny Football.
My, I mean, Joe Burrow is hard for me to beat. Like Joe Burrow, Cam Newton carry job is insane as well too. Like the fact that it was him and I forget that defensive tackle. Um, but they were the only two carrying that team. The rest of the team were like no. I think that there was only total of 4 players that made the NFL from that roster, and he was the sole reason. But like, that's why I said like what's so fun about college football is just like all these people popping off. The Heisman, just because you win the Heisman doesn't mean you're a good NFL player.
It
But
actually means you're probably
recently,
more likely to suck if you win the
yeah, but
Heisman.
recently it's a little bit different now though. Like Cam Newton kind of changed that. Cam Newton was really good. Joe Burrow. You also have what else?
Devontae Smith is fine.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, I wouldn't
Derrick
say.
Henry is an all timer. Didn't he win the Heisman? Did he
I
not?
believe so.
Did Derrick Henry? Did I just make that up?
He should have. I'm sure he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He did.
2015.
Right. But like nowadays, like winning the Heisman actually means you're actually going to be a good NFL prospect. Back then, it didn't. Like, not at all. If you won the Heisman, you were going to be the last successful Heisman in the NFL was like Reggie Bush.
Yep.
In
And even
that
then,
era.
Reggie Bush had a very complicated NFL career.
Didn't he have over 1,000 yards with the Miami Dolphins? Like his best ever rushing season was with Miami.
Reggie Bush. I remember him like suing the Detroit Lions because he tore his ACL in their field.
Yeah. Because he played with he was really good with the Dolphins.
He had 2 1,000-yard years, one in Miami and one in Detroit.
Would have never thought that from Reggie. Would have never thought that he was but yeah, like, but
so
that's
I have
what
the
I
list
say.
of Heisman by year because I was just kind of curious.
Yeah. So last year, I mean, you had Jaden Daniels.
Since 2013, they've all been pretty, or since 2014, they've all been pretty good. Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Joe Burrow, Devontae Smith, Bryce Young, asterisk, Caleb Williams, asterisk, Jaden Daniels, Travis Hunter, asterisk.
Yep. So since what year did you start off with?
2013.
So let's
2014.
Yeah. So
after Mariota.
So 10 years. So essentially for 10 years, about over 50 have now been successful.
Over successful comes in all shapes and sizes, but
that lived up to what a Heisman is, because that means you're the greatest college football player of that season.
God, 2012 Johnny Manziel. So good.
The biggest snub for me, if we're going to talk about Heisman talk, is CMC. He broke Barry Sanders' all-purpose yards record and was, I think, third place when and I was like, bro, you are never going to see that again. Ashon Jeanty came close, but
oh God, I'm staring at this list too long. I feel gross. Carson Palmer won the Heisman the year I was born.
I mean, but he was also
I hated him in the NFL.
One of the only players that actually was actually good from winning the Heisman. Look at the rest of that list.
Like, yeah, between after Palmer, it was Jason White, Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, Troy Smith, Tebow, Sam Bradford, who I contest. Sam Bradford was really good when he was healthy.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? Yes. If Sam Bradford never gets hurt, he's an elite. He's won a Super Bowl and probably a Hall of Famer.
One of the most like what if careers ever, Sam Bradford.
I was so upset, and I remember when he was with the Eagles too. I was like, "This is finally going to be it."
Then the Vikings, and he was good.
It was so tragic, man. That's one of my all-time favorite players.
Sam Bradford.
I loved him in college. I thought that was Andrew Luck before Andrew Luck. Like, legitimately, he was so talented.
And that was the last year of those guys getting like major rookie contracts when they get into the
NFL.
that
motherfucker was getting bank. That was old CBA money. That was old. I think what is 80 million? He got 80 million.
Sam Bradford's rookie contract.
Yeah, I believe it was 80 or 60 to 80.
6 years, $78 million. That's like backup money now, but back then that was,
bro, that would be like nowadays getting a quarterback for 200 mil.
Yeah, the 6 years.
That would be like Jaden Daniels, 7 years, 245. Like, that would be insane.
Coming out of college.
Oh yeah, I mean, the biggest reason why from that was Jamarcus Russell, because you were and also, funny enough, a quick tangent before we get into the college was that teams would actually hate getting the first overall pick
because they had to pay the fucker. Yeah,
because they were like, "Oh my God, we have to pay this unproven motherfucker $60 million. Why am I here?" Like, it's ironic that back in the day, NFL teams did not want the first overall pick like that because they knew like how expensive.
Yeah, we're getting Megatron, but we got to pay him, and we got to take a third mortgage out on Ford Field. Like,
yeah, the 2000s NFL is a wild time before the lockout year.
Yeah, and I became a fan in 2012. That was my first year. So all I've known is what we got now.
That's good. So you watched football, and to me, the first time I was evaluating draft talent was 2011, which to me is the greatest NFL draft class.
I didn't think about draft until like 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Trubisky, Watson.
Oh, okay. Yeah, My first real breakdown of that was, I think, Johnny Manziel Clowney draft class.
Were you a
And
Johnny football guy in the NFL?
no, 100% not. 100% not. That's
I
because
was. I was.
that's because I knew relatively of him. So I was
I
like,
was a kid. I was arguing with my 6th grade teacher. Johnny Manziel's the freaking man, dude. Watch this.
oh, the most what was it? Varsity Blues guy of all time. 100%.
Money.
Oh, Money Manziel. And good for him having his own podcast now.
I listen all the time.
Also legitimately good golfer. Like he actually could be, if he focused on golf full time, he'd be a pro.
Yeah, that's how you know he's like Texas oil money is when he's a kid who plays golf.
Oh yeah. Well, let's break down the rest of these games real quick before we head on out of here.